Hey, hey. All right. So, Geminis, first off, welcome back, Gems. So, we are going to go ahead and jump on in just a second here. We're going to jump on into a message for our Year of the Fire Horse. We just began the Year of the Fire Horse. We shifted over on the 17th. So, we're just 2 days in. And this could be a year where there's a lot more excitement. There's a lot more, just in general, like, thoughts moving faster, energy moving more swiftly, and kind of like fresh and new, more like creative and passionate energy this year as well. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have got for our Gemini. What's the big ticket item for the year of the Fire Horse? Okay, we have Knight of Wands, we have Three of Pentacles, we have Nine of Wands, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So on one hand, there's like I'm going to look at this all like it is Gemini. There's a combination of like, if Gemini has a bunch of different ideas and interests, this might be the year for them to let themselves indulge and, you know, taste test several different adventurous things and then start to hone in on what is most satisfying out of that, kind of like smorgasbord of things. And this could be, we all have different goals and different things that we'd like to do. I mean, I have like 5 different significant things I'd like to start focusing my energy on, because I kind of looked at this Fire Horse, Year of the Fire Horse, as like a new year, and what would I like to accomplish between now and next February? And I'm like, actually, I have like 3 major things, 5 total, but 3 major things that I really want to give, like 90 days to focusing on this and 90 days to focusing on that. They're not super long-term goals, but they're things I could probably accomplish if I put my mind to it in 90 days. And I thought, God, that'd be really awesome. So it could be something like that, where it's not scattered. It's just that there are different, like a multitude of different things that our character might want to focus on, and they might give themselves permission to. And while doing that, weeding out what is most important, where do I most want to put my energy? This could be about different career paths, different hobbies or talents, but something could turn into a full-blown like daily career path situation that could also be very satisfying for Gemini's like creative mind. Fruit of Beauty, so nice to see you, love. And with that in mind, whether or not Gemini would have recognized it at the beginning, they may realize, oh, this is actually healing for me too. Sometimes we don't even realize that some of the things that we're craving to do, it's because it would help us to heal at some other level. Sometimes we think it's just a self-expression, oh, I just want to do this hobby because it would be fun, only to discover actually, no, it was a way that I was working through some things that were old wounds. And it could be like, wow, this was a great way. I've made progress in my life. I've built things. I set these goals for myself. I let myself explore these different things. And the byproduct is I was simultaneously healing some old wounds. And then look at what I have. Like, okay, let me use a simple example of this. I do better in nature. When I'm stressed out or upset over something, I tend to need to get outside. And the best thing for me, really, I mean, it's of course like going out hiking is great, but even better is if I have some project to do outdoors. If I can move some rocks and landscape something, then by the time I'm exhausted and I've been letting my subconscious work through, things, or I've been grieving something or whatever it is, at the end of me giving myself permission to let that go on in the back of my mind while my hands are doing kind of like mindless work and my body is doing grunt work, you step back after a few hours or a few days, and you also made this huge like monument. You landscaped something, you put up boulders, and you made some terraced beautiful garden space, and you're like, oh my God, where once it was hurt and pain on the inside, it evolved outwardly into something beautiful. And I'm thinking it's a little bit like that. If we were going to go with something visual, now maybe it's going to be that Gemini is like a photographer, a painter, and they start pouring their feelings into art, and they think that they're just doing it to explore a hobby. But in fact, by the time they're done making 16 different pieces of stained glass, they realize, oh my God, that was actually healing me. So it could be a wonderful, sneaky way for like Gemini's subconscious to be fixing some things deep inside. But by creating things that actually will benefit their life, whether it's relationships, friendships, business related things, becoming really proficient at some kind of artistic thing that now they can turn around and sell. It just says that there's a lot to be said for giving ourselves permission to branch out and try different things. And instead of saying, oh, that makes it look like I'm just flitting around wasting time, playing at hobbies. No, that's maybe an important creative outlet, but it could also turn into something long-term friendships, something that could become a side hustle, something that could become a really excellent talent, and it heals us. So kind of an amazing, sneaky way for, like Gemini to get the best bang for their buck. That is absolutely fantastic. Like Unique 444, wonderful to see you today. Thank you for popping by, love. All right, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the topic of love in the year of the fire horse. What do we have for Gemini? We have the awakening and we have the lovers, which is Gemini. But this awakening card in any other deck, this would be the judgment card, which, normally we would say, oh, so is it reconciliation? This card can be about reconciliation. It can be about coming back to somebody or them coming back to us. But you notice how we are actually opening our hand to release the bird or to release things to the higher power. So what's crazy though is then we see somebody gravitating toward us or us gravitating towards something. In the realm of love, it says we could be letting go of hurt and pain and then allowing a love story to blossom, or it could be letting go of a person and saying, universe, look, if they're meant to be with me, I trust that'll all work out. And that could be where the boomerang effect comes in almost immediately. Or it could be that was the thing the divine was waiting, was for us to say, I surrender this person. Universe, if they were meant to be mine, I trust that they'll be back in my world. But on the other hand, maybe they're not, in which case, let me continue on and love again. Let me love the person who's best for me. And it's like, excellent. So glad you asked. So this could go in a lot of different ways. That's the way I would look at that right now. But let's see if we can break it down a little. 10 of Cups, this does remind us that there's a lot more than just one pathway to having terrific fulfillment, joy, happiness, and love. Look at how many orcas are out there. There's a lot of fish in the sea. We have got the inspiration of Cups sideways, which also says sometimes it's for us to move on with somebody new that can still be tied to like letting go of things of the past. I guess I would use the visual of if right now my left hand is busy holding this card, then I only have one hand free. And so I maybe need to transfer something over so that now I can, I'm a right-handed person. So sometimes my left hand does my grunt work. So it would maybe be stronger. I can hold something more stable, but I can't write with this hand. So I'd be like, okay, hang on, this is heavy. Let me transfer this. And my right hand will hold something and I'll try to now lift the heavy item here. But guess what? It's still too heavy. I need the other hand. Well, let me put it down and now I can give both hands to this. That's kind of how it is in love. I think sometimes, we can say, well, I was trying to move on, trying to let go and make peace with someone that may or may not be back in my life. But then again, they could be, right? They could still be back in my life, but I can let them go because maybe it's not meant for me. So universe, I'm willing to take on something else. But the universe is like, that's great, but we're going to need you to give both hands. And it's like, oh, okay. I guess I could do that. That's how this feels. It's I was able to let them go, at least shifting them to my non-dominant hand, but then I also am realizing I have to let them go completely so I can really embrace this new energy. But sometimes it happens in stages. And I think that's what that card says to me anyway, is, hey, there's somebody new. You're going to probably really have to accept that even if the ex came back and gave you an apology now, it wouldn't matter anymore. Put them down completely and give both of your hands and your attention to the new person. Synchronicity, I think, is going to happen just as it's supposed to flow. It feels like it's going to be, I don't know, maybe on a really beautiful, time of the year, spring, summertime, I don't know. But it's the perfect time I think for Gemini to meet this person because they are willing to fully surrender even the final thoughts of, hey, but what if that ex did come back? I told the universe if they were supposed to, I'd be open to it. And this is kind of like the angels of the universe saying, But remember, you also said, and if they're not coming back, then let me meet the person that is right for me. Well, here it is. Here's the right one for you. I don't think that Gemini ends up with somebody of their past. Can we see who this synchronicity partner may be? We have an Ace of Swords. We have a Seven of Pentacles. This could be somebody who Gemini has either worked with, has known for some period of time, but never like saw this person in this way before. They could be an individual that has thought a lot about Gemini also, and has been building a relationship slowly. And they always knew, I can't just approach Gemini when they're not giving me the green light. But if Gemini has just given the green light to the universe by releasing an X, they could be picking up on that saying, I kind of think Gemini is single. I think I should make my move. I've been politely holding back, but I don't see why I should. I mean, the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to tell Gemini, I thought about asking you out for a long time. We've been friends for a while. We've been colleagues for a while. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Maybe you're going to say no, but since I've thought about this for about 7 months, I just decided, do you want to go out sometime? It could just be that this doesn't feel like they got all this game and they're this, sexy, spicy, they've been spying from the sidelines or anything. This feels a very straightforward person. They will be nervous, though, with the Strength card in the reverse. They will be nervous to be told no, or they'll be nervous to reach out and do this. But with the Sun card, this person they are both, I would say the real test of bravery or courage is when you do the thing you're scared to do, but you do it anyway. And they seem to be very direct, and they seem to be somebody who, I don't know, I think Gemini makes them happy, but I also think this is going to make Gemini really, really happy. To have something so direct, so straightforward, that could be such a nice just change, We have the Six of Wands and we have the Three of Swords. It is going to mark the triumph over Gemini's past. And indeed, we don't know what their past relationship and situation was, but they could have been treated like crap in the past. This does come across mostly like a masculine. And maybe for them, even getting to the point of trying to ask Gemini out is like a huge thing for them to get their groove back and be like, you know what? I'm so proud of myself. I mean, I got treated like crap by my last relationship, but I've slowly worked up the courage to ask Gemini out. Sorry, my boy is like, yes, ask Gemini out. Handle things. It seems like this could be a wonderful flow, a wonderful match. Let me just ask, universe, do we have, a real potential here? Or is this going to be more like, casual friends? What is this? Temperance, the moon. Says there is something about, oh gosh, sorry guys, I saw the internet just buffered there for a second, or YouTube buffered. Did everybody experience that where YouTube went totally dark for a couple hours? What was that, Tuesday evening, I think? Yeah, so I think it was like 320,000 people at least. I know that it was very widespread, that everything kind of bogged down. So anyway, we just roll with it. But this comes across like you don't realize sometimes just how deep of a connection you could have with someone. But when you start to recognize, wow, we're vibing like this, I'm very comfortable with you, you're very comfortable with me. And then you start to peel back layers and it's like, oh, wow, we have a lot in common. I did not realize. I'm sorry. My boy is interrupting. The internet's interrupting. Gemini, I feel like we're supposed to like let the secrets remain. Let Gemini and this person slowly but surely, like unveil the mysteries of how great they are together. It's really very sweet. I think there's a much deeper bond here. We're going to get one last card because I don't want to leave until you guys get this one, even though Aries, baby, come here, hon. You did good. That's my good boy. A gemstone that might be important this year is the ruby, infinity. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. I will just mention this in Victorian times. Ruby rings would sometimes be like one would be put in the foundation of a house or a business that was being built because it was believed to bring in like prosperity and wealth. And sometimes ruby rings were also used more for like, engagement rings. So I'm just going to mention, I don't know if there's going to be good luck or good fortune from some kind of ruby ring this year, or if this hints that Gemini might wind up engaged in the year of the fire horse. But in general, this year, reds, golds, oranges, those color tones could be more prosperous. And also, if we talk about feng shui, because this is a year of the fire horse, they say that to add in metal into like your home, particularly like in the southern half of your home, helps to balance out the energy of the fire and like complement it and mediate it. So, fire energy is awesome, but of course, fire can burn. So, as far as like energy goes, bringing in like metal in particular, metal artwork, metal framed, furniture or something like that, that might balance out the power of the fire energy this year. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and get to our last 3 zodiacs, and then I think I'll also release one other video later tonight, but I won't actually be around later tonight because it's Mommy's birthday. Rebeltronic, thank you again, hun. Tries to go. Good to see you. Whitman Clan, you angel, thank you for being here, honey. Wonderful to see you. My pleasure. So much for visiting. Thank you so much for watching. Are you guys sending you lots of love? Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing, and I will see you guys again later. Bye.